Hey guys, Brian here. Welcome back to Direct Admission, where we talk with nurses and other healthcare professionals about what they do for work, their life, their family, and everything in between. And today we have a really good one where we talk with a work from home nurse named Phil. He talks about all the reasons why he decided to take a pay cut to work from home. And he has an extensive nursing history and also some of the ways that he's invested his money to not necessarily have to even worry about money down the line. On that note, please consider subscribing if you love hearing this type of content, and drop a like on this video to see more interviews just like this. And on that note, let's jump right into it. It's Phil, right?
Yeah.
Philip?
Call me Phil or Philip. Yeah. What's up?
What's up, man? So we just talked about it off this, so it's kind of tough to go back into it because it was so natural and how it went through. But we were just talking about how we started following each other, and you said it was something in like 2017. And to be honest, like I don't really remember. We were just like Instagram was it pretty new back then? I don't even remember.
I had Instagram for a while, but yeah, I was searching on Instagram for home gym ideas. And then I saw his gym on Instagram, and then I saw he plays Fortnite, and I just went ahead and followed him. And I think he just followed me back, and we tried to play Fortnite one night. It never happened. We just followed each other, and I was like, "Oh, he's a nurse. I'm a nurse. Pretty cool." His wife's a nurse too. My wife's a nurse. We got
So many parallels.
Yeah.
We're like the same person.
It's my variant.
That's
variant.
crazy too, because like I was actually thinking that for like the whole home gym thing, I remember reaching out to a lot of people too, because I'm trying to get a lot of people to do this kind of recording with me. And I had posted, I'll have to find the picture up. I posted a like nursing meme of me in scrubs lifting weights, like in a squat rack. And I'm trying to remember like who followed me from there, because like even on my personal IG, and I only have like 3,000 followers, but that's, to me, that's a lot. And I feel like that's how a lot of people started following, was because like the whole nursing thing and like lifting. And
Yeah, that's pretty much why I followed you. I was like, huh, interesting. This guy has like the same.
we're living the same life.
Well, you're just a different variant. I don't even. You're in New Jersey, right?
New York.
New York, Buffalo.
No, right
I know you're a
outside of New York
Bills fan.
City. I'm a Bills fan. Yeah.
You are. I'm a Dolphins fan.
Oh man, cut this off right now.
Yeah, man. So later, I'm gonna watch the Miami play, and then I'll watch the Bills-Jets game.
Yeah.
See who loses.
We're so bad right now for such a talented team. So bad.
Yeah. So what's going on with you guys?
At least we fired the OC, so we'll see. Do you live near Miami?
I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, which is like 30 minutes from Miami. So I'm always a Miami fan for like all the sports teams.
And where are you now? Like,
I'm in Orlando, Florida.
in the middle. You know,
Yep.
like that's
Like
actually
30 minutes from Disney World. I go to Disney World all the time. So
that's awesome. Like me and
my
my
kids out there.
wife always think like if we were to move, it'll be either to like, if we go to Florida, it has to be near Orlando because my wife loves Disney World. And then if we were to move somewhere else, like I guess where other family would be like Texas, but we always go back to being like Orlando. Is that the place to be?
Well, that's
Like,
the place to be for you then. I mean, it's probably cheaper than New York.
Oh,
Housing
100%.
and everything.
And
Disney's right there. I'm sure you could sell your house and buy a house here.
yeah, but the interest rate I got right now is so low. Like we bought our house in 2019 and our interest rate is 2.8.
Oh wow, that's really good.
And it's like our house did appreciate like almost $300,000 since the time.
That's a good down payment.
Yeah, that's
Just sell it.
Like that's the only way I would move is, well, first off, Florida's great because of the no income tax, right? And then if we could buy out like whatever house we go into, the mortgage just has to end up being way less than what we're paying. That's all I think. Like if we could use like all the money from selling the house.
I think that could work.
So since you live down there, let's like just jump into some nursing stuff. So
nursing? I thought this was a fantasy football podcast.
So was because everyone wants to know. So like the whole point of this is that obviously a lot of people like talking about personal finances, and since we're both nurses and I'm pretty passionate about the whole nursing thing, is that like you don't have to be stuck in your one position. You can find whatever works for you and your family, your situation and all that. And I feel like that's like a great thing to go into, because I've seen a lot of people quit nursing because their first job was trash. It was like med surge and like crazy ratios for patients, and then they just like give up and they go into something else. And then sadly they talk to me like later and I'm like, you probably just didn't find the place that would be best for you. Like you probably thought that, oh man, I'm just gonna be wiping ass and pushing meds for like 30 years and that's my life from now on. And they probably just didn't find the right place for them. So going into that, like before we go into your work from home stuff, what was your first job? Or when did you graduate? Like tell us a little bit about yourself first,
All
actually.
right, yeah. This is the first interview question.
Yeah. Well, like
uh,
tell us about yourself and then we'll go
yeah.
into all that.
I got my first job in 2013. I graduated in 2012 with a ASN degree.
Mhm.
So I wasn't very marketable at that time. It's just
So
an ASN degree.
does Florida not like associate's degrees?
I mean, they're not as marketable as a BSN degree.
Because
So yeah, if you try to find like one job after another, it's kind of hard because they just see you have an ASN, and then they always push for a BSN like all the
yeah.
time. It's like if you work here, you need your BSN in 2 years, like that kind of thing.
Oh shoot.
But my first job was a med surge. Yeah, that's the like I just went with whatever came into me first, and it was med
Mhm.
surge. And I was first worked in Gainesville, Florida. Go
That's
Gators!
yeah, Gators. That's all I can know about that, Gainesville.
It's a college town. But yeah, I did med surge there. I was stuck there for 3 years.
Mhm.
I was trying to get out of there, but I mean, I had other things going on. I was trying to get my BSN during that time, so I
Did they
couldn't
pay
really.
for it? Did your job pay for it?
No, because if they did pay for it, I would have to sign a contract to stay there for like a certain amount of years.
Mhm.
And my idea was to like get out of
Get
Gainesville,
out.
and which I did after 3 years.
Nice.
But yeah, so I got my BSN, and then I started med surge, which really sucked. You worked med surge, have you?
Yeah, a little
Yeah,
bit of it, yeah.
a little bit. How long were you in med surge for?
Like a few months and then I was in
That's it.
yeah, and
I was
then I
there for
went to
3 years.
heart
Heart
failure for
failure?
like yeah, it's like 4 years of heart failure before I went to EP, like
Oh, nice.
electrophysiology. So
Yeah, so I was in med surge for 3 years, and then I moved to Orlando, and then I went to CVICU,
oh, you're
which
one of
is
those.
yeah, I'm one of those nurses. We're the best nurses. And then I was there for another 3 years. And then, like by my third year, I was like, I want out of this ICU. There's too much stress, man. I was working nights too. I did nights
Mhm.
for my first part of my career. Then I moved over to PACU.
Nice.
PACU was nice. It was outpatient PACU, so it was even nicer.
Mhm.
My schedule was, flexible. I really liked the patients we had. It was like easy surgeries. And then after that, I stayed there for 4 years. So that was like my longest job I had because I really liked it there. And then during that time, I had 2 kids. And then I was like, I
What
can't
year
be
was
like,
that? I really do feel we're living a parallel life here.
my first kid was born 2019. And then my second
Alright.
was born 2021.
We're like a year apart. Mine was like
Oh, wow.
2020 and
Jesus Christ.
2022, yeah, and we've been a nurse about the same amount of time, so
Oh, my God.
yeah, I started in
Telling you.
I'm 34. I graduated in
I'm 34.
2011. Yeah, I graduated in 2011, but didn't
Oh, wow,
start
you
working
guys
until
left early.
2012.
Oh, nice. But
Yeah.
yeah, so how I got into work from home job.
Yes.
So, I couldn't like drive around and come back home tired with my kids. So I was like, I need something to, something stable, something where I'm not stressed out when I come home.
Mhm.
And then I have friends that work from home, but they're not nurses. They're like
I
engineers.
was about to say, like, you knew people already? I was
No.
like, "Dang."
And then I was like, you know what? I need to find out if nurses can work from home. So then I looked on Facebook. There's a group on Facebook called the Remote Nursing Jobs. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Nah, I'm gonna look that up.
And then you like type in the search bar like different companies, different positions, and then you can like search through like what people say about this job and like kind of job they're into. And
Mhm.
then I just did a lot of research through that. Another website I used was Nurse Fern, and
Nurse.
she like makes,
I
ATS resumes, which is applicant tracking system, which helps, your resume stand out. So then I use that. And also on Nurse Fern, she posts like jobs every day. And then she says like descriptions about the jobs. And she'll say, oh, this place hires like new nurses and like little comments like that. And then I use that a lot every day. I sent out a bunch of applications for a couple months. Finally got an interview.
Mhm.
And
Was the interview, like, in person, or was it, like, a
no, it
work from home
was
interview?
work from home interview. So
That's
like,
dope.
I have a nice suit on and then I'm just in my boxers. My first interview and I got the job. So now I work from home. I started when did I start? January of this year. So
Oh,
January
nice.
2023. So I've been there for
So it was
almost
pretty
a year.
recent.
Yeah, so I've been there for almost a year now. I really like it. And the company isn't like a typical healthcare company. It's more like it's a software company.
Oh,
And what
I
the
would have
nurse, what the
insurance
nurses,
company, or is it a software?
it's a software company.
Oh shoot! For some reason, every time I hear work from home, I always think it's like insurance based.
So yes, most of the work from home companies are insurance companies like Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Health, Optum, Centene.
Mhm.
What else? Humana, CVS. Those are all companies where you can search for work from home nursing jobs, and they have like case management, utilization review is what I do right now is utilization review. There's utilization management, yeah, other things, but those are like the main work from home jobs for nurses that I've seen.
So what do you do? Like, what's utilization review? Like, I have no idea. This is blowing my mind that there's something out there.
So what happens, a doctor would request a procedure or a medication, and then they would send fax over documents over, and then the nurse would look through those documents to see if that procedure meets criteria against the insurance policy. So
Mhm.
we have to see if it's just medically necessary by comparing it to the insurance policy. So for example, like one of the easiest cases we review is like iron infusions.
Okay.
So if this patient needs an iron infusion, the doctor will send over like the patient's, last office visit and some lab. And then on the criteria of the insurance company, we just have to find within that document if they have iron saturation score below a certain percent. I think it's like below 12, and to
Mhm.
see if they're older than 18, and if they've tried any conservative like oral replacement iron therapy. And if they meet those three boxes, if you can find that in the documentation they sent, it approves, it gets sent over back to the insurance company, and then they approve it. So my job is to, look through the
Sh-
documents and just click the little boxes to meet the criteria,
Like checking the
send it over.
boxes to make
Yep.
sure things fit. Wow.
So yeah, and we review all kinds of things. So we'll review like surgeries too, like ACL surgery or shoulder surgery. So we just have to meet the criteria that they provide for us for that specific procedure
Mhm.
or or medication or equipment. So that
It,
that's basically utilization review.
that's not bad. And how many, like, is it a 5 day a week type of
Yes,
job,
my
or?
job right now it's 8 to 4:30, 30
Mhm.
minute lunch. So yeah, it's 8 to 4:30. There's flexibility. Like I can ask for like, hey, can I take this part of the time off and I'll make it up some other time, or I can just ask PTO ahead of time. So it's very flexible. I mean, I like it. I get to see my kids every morning. I get to help them with breakfast. I get to help them get ready for school, and then when they come home, I'm home. I help them with dinner. I put them to bed. It's not like, those 12-hour shifts in the hospital
That's
when you're
true.
gone from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. You don't even see your kids all day.
Are your kids in school, or like, well,
In
we have like
daycare.
daycare. So if they are home, like on holidays or something, do you have like your own office at your house, or?
Yeah, I have a two-story house, so I have like a loft
Mhm.
like in the corner. So that's where my office is. Right now, I'm in my kids' room. Bro, I'm using like I found like a
The
table.
little small table where your knees are hitting the
Huh,
top of
this was
it.
like a table we used a couple weeks ago for a bachelor party, and we played beer pong on it. And I realized I haven't cleaned it yet. So there's like still beer stains and everything on this thing. So like, okay, whatever. But yeah, I'm in my kids' room right now. It's all good. Where's your wife work?
Same hospital as me. She's oncology nurse. So all the
Wow.
infusions. Don't
Guess
tell me she's
guess what
we're,
my wife
we're the same person,
yes,
man.
my wife does oncology as well. She's done it for 10, 11 years. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
we're living same life,
Have you
just
watched
in
Loki on Disney Plus?
I didn't start the newest season.
Tell me,
We're
you're
just
you're like my
variants, right?
variant of me then. Jesus Christ.
So going back into it, so you went into work from home because of the time and being able to be with your family.
100%.
So, and you started off
I could care less about how much I get paid. Like
that,
if my kids aren't gonna be this young forever. So I'm thinking, hey, I need to spend as much time as I can with them now. And
mhm.
this was the best choice I have.
And I feel like that's one of the biggest things too. Like that goes through my mind all the time, being like, I'm at this place for 12 hours and I drive into the city an hour and then it takes me an hour to get back. That's
An
14
hour.
hours.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
It's like 14 hours a day where I'm not home, and I could be with my family, or I could be with my wife, or I could be making more of my time. But then I think about like the pay, and as greedy as it sounds, like we do get paid a good amount in New York, whereas some other places you probably don't. But you're saying that the money isn't necessarily a problem because, first, I want to say you also work in a no income state tax place where you probably get to pocket way more money. Do you remember how much you were getting as a staff nurse versus like a range of what you're getting now, where people could kind of figure out like, oh wow, he's taking a pay cut or something like that?
Let's see. Well, when I first started nursing with an ASN degree, I started around 55K to 60K. And
Wow.
then, I built my way up. I worked ICU, I got all the certification.
Yeah, certifications,
Uh,
experience.
yeah. So by I think the end of my bedside career, I was making around not even that much, maybe like 40 an hour,
Okay,
40 $40 an
Florida
hour.
does not pay well.
No, it does not. That was, like, almost 10 years of experience. I was in outpatient PACU, and then the outpatient PACU were doing money cuts as well because we were
Oh
outpatient
shoot.
as opposed to, like, bedside or
Mm.
ICU, so we weren't getting paid as much as them. We were trying to fight that, but that's, a different story. And then, yeah, so 40 an hour was, like, probably the max I made at, like, on bedside. What was the other question?
And then, so like in your new job as a work from home,
So the other
did you
thing
take
is
another pay cut?
I never really worked like overtime. I
Hmm.
never did, the traditional like 80 hours. I always did like 72 or less hours. When I was in PACU, I was only working like maybe like 65 on average just
Oh
because
wow.
like schedule flexibility and like, patients aren't, when the last patient's done, we're done for the day.
And then
So
you go
sometimes
home.
yeah, so then I'd go home early, which was nice. That's all I really cared about. But yeah, so I took a couple dollar pay cut an hour with my work from home job. Now I'm like around between 75 to 80K right now is what my salary is with bonuses.
But that's not bad too.
That isn't
Like the cost of living where you're at, is it expensive?
not as bad as New York. I heard New York is like
Yeah,
really bad. But
it's expensive over here.
yeah, so like I think typically for like, a work from home job, if you're gonna start out, you're probably gonna start well in Florida. If you live in Florida, expect to make starting out between 70 to 77K for like a utilization review job. I
Mhm,
know I've seen other jobs like utilization management and case manager, they'll make around 80 to 85 starting. So I
mhm.
think that job pays a little more from working from home.
But it's not terrible too because now you're at home, so you don't have to drive to work, so that's saving on gas and maintenance of a car. And then do you guys do tolls too? I don't know if Florida has a lot of tolls.
There's tolls. I
And
mean,
then
there's like back roads.
oh yeah,
You
back
take-
roads, and then but overall saving money because where I work, they charge you $20 a day for parking.
Holy, a
So
day?
yeah, a day.
So,
And
and you go to work like what, 4 days a week?
3 days a week, but still,
3 days?
it's like
So that's
$60,
$60 a week for
and
parking?
then gas for an hour, well, 2 hours there and back, and then tolls too. And so, like, even if, like, say a nurse is probably I need to do the math, so don't quote me on this, but even if, like, say a nurse here is making, like, 100K a year, is it really that much more than what you're making down there with no state income tax and not having to worry about parking, toll, gas, and all that? So it's like as much as like the number seems big here, is it really does the dollar actually go as far? That's like always a tough thing to get through people's heads too, that there are jobs out there that the end salary that you might be having is lower, but what's the difference with like the time and the commute and all that stuff? And that's always like tough to get through people's heads as well.
Yeah, and then like if I wanted to make more money, I could have, honestly.
Mm,
I mean, I was a nurse for like what, 10 years
mhm,
bedside. If I wanted to do travel nursing, I could have done that. Like if I wanted to stay in ICU to make more money, I could have done that. But no, I chose to stay home,
mhm.
not drive in traffic, come home to my family, not stressed out. So
Yeah, that's like a awesome thing to hear too, because like, well, when I heard that you went in the CVICU, was your original plan to be like everyone else and go to CRNA school after?
I mean,
Because you guys are the best of the best, right?
yeah, we are. I feel like most of my coworkers went to CRNA school. Bro, I was never good at school, dude.
Me either.
And like like I don't know. I like looked at it and then like I looked at like all the prerequisites and then I'm like, I can't fucking do this. Like I'm very a realistic person. Like I don't really have high expectations of myself. But I was thinking of going back to school. I actually did try to go back to school once. This was like around COVID, and then when the government was giving us money, then I was, I had free money to play with, and I tried
Mhm,
going to get my MSN. I like narrowed it down to education.
mhm.
I took one class, I did one paper, and I said I can't do this. I coughed up $2,000.
It's like, damn it, I wasted money.
Well, it was the government,
Oh
so
yeah, it was free money, but like I could have did something with it.
exactly. But yeah, I knew at that point I was like, school's not for me. I'm not gonna go back to
Yeah,
school.
that sounds so familiar because, well, I was in grad school, then I dropped out of it.
Oh, like
But
me. Wow.
yeah, but I actually stayed in it for a good amount of time. Like if it was like a 4-year thing, like I was on like finishing up year 3, and then I was like, you know
Damn,
what?
you went further than me.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm actually gonna use this degree. Like I was going for my NP degree, and
I was
I
thinking of that
liked
too.
yeah, I liked doing the clinicals. I hated the paperwork. I hated all of, and I was a dumbass. I chose the
Yeah, I was
school that
too.
was an hour away from me instead of the one that was like 15 minutes from me.
Really? You
Like,
couldn't get
yeah.
like a work from home or school
like
thing?
I was an idiot in that, and then I remember every time I was driving there, and I was like, "Why am I doing this?" And then I just like ended up quitting it, and then I still get a lot of questions. Oh, you should have finished. You could have made more money, but at the same time, I'm like how you're doing it. Like I weighed the pros and cons. I was like, if I created my own business with NP, I probably could have made more money. If I do it in the hospital, make more money, but do I want that type of responsibility for, like, even when you leave, I feel like you have a responsibility there. They'll still call you because you're technically on call. And then where we work in the city, they kind of treat you like sometimes like a resident or a fellow, where even though you're signed up for your 7A to 7P shift, there's days where they're going to ask you to do the night shift as well, where you're just going to be thrown off everything. That ain't me, man.
Oh my god. Yeah, man. That CRNA, I can't work it from home as a CRNA.
It has to be like some sort of AI. Can you press all the buttons?
Yeah, man. You gotta sedate this person for me. I don't.
So obviously you chose the lesser money route, but more time freedom of being at home. And even though you're working 5 days a week, at least you're home and you're present when you need to be. And you said you could take your PTO and all that stuff too. Since you chose the lesser paying job, which I know a lot of people are very like adamant about not doing, do you do anything on the side to help you make more money, or
Yeah. I do a little bit of real estate on the side as well. I'm
that's
pretty
where
big on
we
real estate. Oh, what, you do it too, right? Yeah, I have one rental property in Florida.
Mhm.
So, and I have a property manager that manages it. But like getting into real estate is like a whole story itself. I mean, I could go into that
Go
if you
into
want.
it, man. I love to hear it. How'd you start?
All right. So I'm in Gainesville. This is 2013, 2014. So this is like my second year as a nurse.
Hmm.
So a little also about me, I live very frugally. Like I don't really, go out and buy too much fancy things. So I'm a very frugal person. I
Hmm.
budget my money. 2013, I lived in a little apartment, and I was paying like $500 in rent
Oh,
because
dang.
yeah, and I'm making like what 60K,
So
55
you're
to
pocketing a
60K.
lot.
Yeah, so I mean, because my idea was, to get out of Gainesville, but what ended up happening, I stayed in Gainesville a bit longer because I bought a house in in 2014. I ended up buying a house there. It's funny because I didn't want to do it at first, but my parents were like, "Hey, buy a house, buy a house." Then I
Yeah.
ended up buying a house in 2014. It was like a three three.
A 3-3. And you were like, what, 22 at the time? 20.
23, 24 at the
Dang,
time, I
man.
think.
I don't even
So,
remember what I was doing at 23. You
so
buying
the
a
thing
house.
was, this house, like, I didn't know like anything about real estate back then. I didn't know there's like all these different things. I was just like, oh, let me just find a house because my parents said so. And then the house was like a 3-3 townhome. It costed 94,000 at that time.
Okay.
So what we did, which I never knew any of this stuff. We did like a FHA loan.
Hmm.
So the important things in this story is the FHA loan, house
Okay.
hacking, and a 1031 exchange. I don't know
How'd
if
you,
you know any
oh,
of this
yeah.
stuff, but I'll
So,
get into it.
yeah, I'm gonna,
So an FHA loan, you can put down 3.5%.
Mm-hmm.
So what's 3.5% down on a 94,000?
Like $3,000, a little less than.
Exactly, 3 grand. So I could get in and have my own house for 3 grand. I'm pretty sure I paid a little bit more with like closing
Like close
costs and
up.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
My parents, helped pay for a little bit of it, and I paid for like most of it. So I have my own house, just starting with just five
And it's a
grand.
3-3. That's
Yeah, that's a
crazy.
3-3. I mean, it wasn't anything special, it was like built in 1987. Like it
Hmm.
wasn't like super new stuff. So then, yeah, I have this house, and then next thing I know is like my friend wants to move in. He was also a nurse, and then he was gonna work at the same place. So then he moved in. Charged him like $500 for rent for one room.
And what was your mortgage?
My mortgage was like 750 at that
You're
time.
almost living for free already.
Yeah, so here I am. I'd be making like, maybe if I made like 60K a month, I'm gonna say after like taxes, after saving for like 401k,
Hmm.
probably get like,
60K a year, right?
yeah, 60K a
Yeah.
year.
Okay.
So then every month would be close to like 3,000 of
Hmm.
income after 401k and taxes.
Hmm.
And then I have a friend that's paying 500 for my 750 mortgage. So all I'm paying is like 300, 400
Hmm.
for rent.
For for rent and utilities or whatever.
So I mean, 3,000 minus 400, I have 2,600 just saved up to myself that I could do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's like groceries and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And Gainesville, there's not much to do in Gainesville, so I saved a lot during that
Hmm.
time. I was in that house I only stayed in that house for like 2 years, but within that 2 years, I'm saving like what, 2,000,
A
roughly
month.
2,000 a month for 2 years. That's almost what, 24 grand.
$24,000. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Times
that,
two. Yeah. Times the 2 years, right?
I
Because
don't
you were
know.
there 2 years.
Wow, we're
Yeah.
so bad at math.
Yeah, we're bad Asians. Oh man.
Jesus. I don't even, someone's gonna correct us on our math. I just know it, but whatever. But yeah, 2,000 times 12 times 2
Yeah.
is roughly, is how much I could save, and I could do whatever I want with it. Yeah, and then I ended up moving out, and then me and my wife bought a house in Orlando 2 years later because I had money saved up.
So you kept the house
Yeah, I
as a
kept that
rental.
house as a rental. And then I had my friend stay in it, and we got two other roommates to stay in it. And then later they moved out, and then I got a property manager to find tenants for me for that house, and I kept that house for a while. But within 2 years, I was able to get two houses. I got my primary in 2016.
Is that the one that you're in right now?
Yeah, we've been here since 2016.
Oh wow.
So we have, equity in it now. And then I ended up selling that house in Gainesville. I did a
Mhm.
1031 exchange. The 1031 exchange is you defer to taxes. So when you sell the house, you don't have to pay any taxes, but
Mhm.
you have to buy another rental property. So I've just
Yeah.
bought another property that cash flows more in another part of Florida. So that one's cash flowing about 500 to 600 a month. That one's just
Nice.
there. And then, just keep saving, and I want to buy another one, but daycare is expensive, man.
That's true.
That's killing me right now.
So the new house, how big is it? And
It's
what
a
was the price?
3.3. I bought that one. It was 265. So I used the equity from the Gainesville house,
Mhm.
sold it, and then put it as a down payment for this house
Did you have to
without
put
paying
any
taxes.
money out of your own pocket, or you just use everything in the 1031?
I used pretty much everything in the 1031. I mean, there's like, you have to do like inspection. Like
Oh
that's
yeah,
what came
so
out
it's
of
like a
pocket.
few $100.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a couple $100 out of pocket for like inspection. But
And
yeah,
that's like one of the biggest things that I feel a lot of, like, your parents were right in doing
yeah, I
and
know.
telling you like to
Who
get
would
that
have
house.
thought?
Oh, my parents were right. Go into nursing.
They told me to do that too,
Yeah, that's mine too. And then
Really? Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
there was like you got to do it. You got to do it. If
Yeah, I
you
didn't know
don't know
what
what
to
you're
do.
doing, you got to put
Yeah.
nursing.
Yeah.
One of the things that I wish I did before I got my primary house, the house that I'm living in right now, 2019, only house I bought until then. That's what I wish I did, was do like FHA type of house hack when I was younger. Like, yeah, I saved a lot of money living at home with my parents, but if I bought a rental well, even a primary at the time that I could have house hacked, the wealth gain from then, like say in 2014, like when you did it till now, and the place that I live right now, since my parents are from the same area, the appreciation would have been like crazy for what it is. So like then like you open up like a million other doors that you get, like
Exactly.
HELOCs, cash out refinancing, free money pretty much that you could use to do everything. And what I've noticed already, like I've interviewed a friend that was a CVICU nurse too. that is now a real estate agent. He house hacked his first 2 houses, and now he's like a multi-millionaire from that, just because of the area that we live in, just like the high cost of living area. People are willing to pay ridiculous amount in rent, and they're like duplexes or triplexes, and like the real estate is definitely one of the best ways to do it. Even if you're just trading up primaries, I feel like is a big thing too. If like you stay in a place for 1 to 2 years, where you can do what was it, like the capital, you don't get capital gains tax for $250,000 if you're single, or if you're married and filing jointly, it's like 500,000. Like you could just keep trading up depending on your situation. But yeah, that house hacking, that's something I wish I did.
Yeah, the thing was, like, my roommate wasn't covering all my mortgage. He was covering just some of it. So, you don't need a home run,
Yeah.
on your first property. Even if they're just paying part of it, you're still saving a lot of money while building equity.
Yeah, like someone else is helping you build equity, and that's huge. Did you I know you kind of just went into it. Did you end up like listening to podcasts or reading books after the fact?
It was probably when I had my second kid, maybe around 2021, where I started listening to Bigger Pockets.
Yeah.
Everyone listens to Bigger Pockets if you're into real estate.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I learned like 1031 exchange and everything. But before that, I was just like, what am I doing? I just know I could find a
I have a
property
house.
manager. Yeah, I have a house. Let me get people to live in it. That sounds like a great idea.
that's
I
so
didn't
true.
know any. I didn't really know about Bigger Pockets yet.
How do I pay for my mortgage without paying for my mortgage?
And then, yeah, Bigger Pockets helped me, because that's where I learned about the 1031 exchange, was the Bigger Pockets. And I was like, oh, I could take that house, sell that house, buy another house, and have better cash flow than what I was I wasn't really cash flowing that much. Also, when I had the property manager, because you got to pay a property manager, and they take like 10%.
10%, yeah.
But yeah, I still have a property manager for my house in Port Orange, Florida. Port Orange is right below Daytona.
Okay.
So it's like on the east side.
Is that near like the water too, or?
Yeah, it's near Port Orange is near the water, yeah. But
Oh yeah, port. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then like I was just looking at that post. I'm gonna read the caption. Bought a property in Port Orange, buy your kids a house and rent it out. I'm trying to buy more properties and become financially free and spend more time with the kiddos.
No, that's me, man. That's what I value most.
So since you 1031 that one, I'm assuming you're going to keep that house for a good amount of time.
Yeah, it's doing really good. So I'll keep it.
How would you fund the next house? Like just from your job and saving, or?
Yeah, I still have a little bit of savings. Also, I could, build up the cash flow from that house, and then maybe in a couple years I can buy another one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm telling you, daycare is killing me right now.
Yeah, daycare. Yeah.
That's what's holding me back. Daycare. And last year I had to work like just part time. I was working like PRN last year. So
Really?
because to take care of the firstborn, or the second.
Oh yeah,
Or second kid. And yeah, so I had to work like half my hours, so I was getting like half my salary. But I mean, I was doing okay. I just had to tap into like reserves for like the house.
little bit.
Yeah, just had to tap into like some of my reserves. Fine, I could build it back up later.
That's true. And like, yeah, you're not in like a sticky spot where you're.
So
like,
I was like, I could do this for a year and I'll be okay.
Yeah, I feel like that's a thing a lot of people forget about too, is that the emergency fund, the reserves, it's a huge thing to have, because say if you didn't have that, then you'd be living like that crazy tight paycheck to paycheck, where you're literally feel like you're drowning with like, how do I afford everything, 2 kids, provide for my family, and not have like a full-time job? Like all that stuff could like weigh on anybody, especially like, is November mental health month for males? I think so. Like any guy, I feel like, I don't know where that popped in my head. Any guy that wants to provide for their family, I feel like that's one of the things that goes into someone's head too, is be like, oh, how am I going to make my family's life a little bit better? But if you also don't have like the reserves that you had, then it definitely would have weighed on you if you didn't have money ready for emergencies.
Yeah, exactly. I built up my emergency fund like from the get-go. So I've like through like my whole nursing career, I've never really had to worry much about debt, and I could afford like cutting my hours just to be comfortable. I've been always comfortable with like money. Like even if I lose my job right now, I'll be okay. Like I'll be okay for a couple months.
Yeah, that's huge. And sadly, like I keep going into, a lot of nurses, even this 70K is a lot of money, no matter where you look at it. And then you see nurses up in New York making, where I live, $150,000 versus California where they're making like $200,000, where they most likely, I've met a lot of people that are living paycheck to paycheck with these high income and they don't have savings. And then if something bad happens and they're just swiping the credit card and just throwing themselves in like crazy debt. Whereas the financial literacy that you have to, even if it wasn't like the highest end, but you knew I have to say, you also had your parents also be like, hey, buy a house. This is a great way to build some wealth. Like, I feel like a lot of people don't have the resources around them to lead them in the right way, because that's how like the whole rat race happens, where the blind leading the blind kind of thing. Like, everyone goes in debt, and that's not how it should be, especially with the nursing profession making a crazy amount of money no matter where you live. That's wild.
Yeah, man.
Do you have like an LLC, or everything's still in your name for your
Everything's under my name.
Do you ever plan on having an LLC to, I guess, provide a little
I
bit
guess
more?
if I get like more than couple more properties, then yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen like different discussions about it. Like some people say you should have one, say you shouldn't. I mean, I guess it's just a personal preference.
Yeah. I ended up putting mine in an LLC under a trust, because that's what I was told, just because New York has, even though my properties are all in Ohio, just because New York just has wider and weirder laws about stuff.
How'd you get your properties in Ohio?
Bigger pockets.
Okay.
There was the first one that I bought there was like a sponsored post, like rent to retirement.
Oh, I've seen those. Oh, you bought it through that?
I bought it through that because I had no one to actually reach out to out there. Like, I do have a cousin, but like we don't talk. So it's like they're just like a distant cousin. So I couldn't even like ask them to help me out with certain things. So I did it through that. Sadly, like it's working out really well, but I definitely overpaid for the house. Like, the house is a 2-1 and I paid 96.8 for it. And I paid like 20% down. So it's like 20-ish grand with including closing costs. But if it was just like a regular buying it through like Zillow or something, I probably could have got it for like 80 or something.
Oh, really?
Like, that's how they make their spread. Like, and then like
I was wondering how that process worked.
Yeah, they make their spread off of they just rehab the house. Like, if you look on Zillow, you could see that they bought it for like less than 20 grand, and then they sold it to me for like 96.8. So they made like, probably after rehab costs, like probably like 40-50 grand just from the selling to me. And like, that's a crazy spread. Like, and they work with whatever property manager that helped to build the house. Since I bought that house in 2020, I since then fired that property manager, because they were like, if something broke, right, I'd ask them, can you send me 3 quotes? And they'd only send me the quote. They'd only send me 1 quote. It'd easily say,
that's crazy.
Option A, B, or C. They'll show me like option B, and apparently it's like the highest one. They might not even like have hired that person. They just went with the highest quote, and they might have went with the lower person, because I'd get it's the same phone call like a month later that the same problem's happening. I was like, these guys are probably just showing me the quote and picking someone else and like skimping there. Like, that has nothing to do with the rent to retirement, just a property management company that was working there. So I fired them.
So is that property management company working with rent to retirement?
I think that was the one that was set up with me through rent to retirement. I think how rent to retirement gets their properties, and if they watch this, don't quote me. I think they just get some sort of contract with whatever people are rehabbing houses. Be like, if you can't sell it right away, give us the inventory and we'll give you the property management rights. That's what I think. Like, I wish it was something different, but luckily when I bought my second property, I met the property manager through the person that did the inspection of my first property. And that guy was like phenomenal. He was super honest about everything that was wrong with the first house. And that's where I got like a lot of credits back towards like the closing cost and a lot of things like that. He's like, I would buy this at this price point kind of thing. He was like super honest with me. And then he was selling one of his houses later. So he just like called me. He's like, oh, I'm selling this house. I know you're out of state investor. This is my realtor. You don't have to use her, but she's also my property manager. And then me and her are like on constant talk basis every week, just like checking in. And she's like, great. Like, without a property manager, there's no way I would be able to do any out of state investing.
No, like I always use a property manager. I can't do that stuff by myself.
Yeah, I'm not handy, and I'm too far away. So
yeah, I'm not doing all that. Just working on its own.
Yeah,
it just rents late sometimes, but I mean, they pay a late fee.
Oh yeah, that's true. Like, I only had to do that once. The but at least as long as it comes in.
Yeah, as long as it comes in within
Yeah.
like the month, I'm okay.
Yeah. Like, last few questions. Obviously, you have kids. You want to spend more time with them. Is like the plan eventually to try to retire early since you're pretty frugal? Seems like you got some good investments going on.
Uh, I think like my short-term goal right now would be like to work part-time.
Hmm.
Maybe do like 4/8, 3/8, maybe within the next 2 to 5 years. I'd like to do that.
That's awesome.
As opposed to retiring early. I mean, I don't want to work till I'm like 60, so I guess I mean I could work up until like 50s, but
Yeah,
I
but
don't really
that's not
have
the
that.
plan.
Yeah, I don't really have that. I can't really look too far because anything can happen,
That's true.
really. So I don't really like to plan that far ahead.
That's true.
So, but yeah, I like to just start part time probably
Mhm.
soon. I mean, and
And
buy more properties. I really want to do that too.
yeah, because that could help you get to that with the extra income, extra cash flow.
Yeah,
And you contribute to your 401k and all
yeah.
that
I
too?
usually do like I do the match, whatever the max of the match is. I think it's like 6% on in this company.
So that's free money, man.
And
I
then
love
yeah,
that.
I do that, and then Roth IRA. I just put like maybe a couple hundred in there every month.
Every month, and then that
And then
usually
for the
probably will match
kids,
out.
for
Yeah.
the kids, we have to save for college. So my parents
D
did that for me. They did like the college prepaid stuff.
Like the
So
529 account kinda
yeah,
thing?
so it was everyone should do this if you have kids because it helps them. But
Mhm.
because when I graduated from just for my ASN, I didn't have any loans or anything to pay,
Yeah, that's
and then
huge.
I was able to pay my BSN on my own. So that's what I'm doing for my kids. They have the 529. I just put like $100 a month in there.
How did your parents know about I guess, did they do the 529 or they just
We have something here called Florida Prepaid, and that's what they
oh.
did. I guess you like pick whatever box it says 4-year college, and then they pick that one, put money in it.
Because I feel like that's the hardest part because parents probably like mine came from the Philippines to here, and then they probably didn't mine didn't know about like 529 accounts for since they came straight to New York. They just like save for college, but they probably could have had that dollar go way further. But the whole not being I'm not saying that they're not educated, but not being educated on the financial part of it, like it could have been done better. But
Yeah, I don't know how they found about it or
yeah.
commercial or something.
Probably.
I don't think there was like much internet back then in the 90s. I think the internet just started or something.
Yeah, true. If you were to start your career over again, what would you do differently, or would you do anything differently?
I mean, I probably wouldn't have stayed in med surg for 3 years, but that's one thing. Other than that, I can't really think of anything else. If you're in med surg, try to get out of there.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty bad there. Also, there's lots of resources, on working from home. I'd
Mhm.
start by the remote nurse, looking at that on Facebook, and then look at Nurse Fern, and then just look on LinkedIn. I mean, I can go on about that on another episode or whatever, but
Yeah, definitely.
to help other viewers to, find their first job. I mean, even if you don't find a remote job, you'll find other opportunities in nursing
Mhm.
by looking at all of these resources.
Books do you read, man? Do you read books?
Yeah.
Bedtime stories?
Besides that, Bigger Pockets books, I read that. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a good start. The Simple Path to Wealth. Have you read that one?
Oh, I have read that one. That
Yeah,
was like one of
that's
the first ones I read after the Robert Kiyosaki book.
really, yeah, same here. Yeah, but that's a good start. I mean, I live by that book pretty
Mhm.
much. And I Will Teach You to Be Rich.
I actually liked that book by
That book's
Ramit
good.
Sethi.
Yeah.
The whole you could live your rich life as long as it's within means. Kind of pretty much like you could still have your coffee. I know everyone that keeps on, oh, you don't buy that $5 coffee. It's like, no, if you want it, go get it. Just know that there's other options too
Yeah.
that with your money.
Yeah.
Make
He's
sure you
really
invest.
big on that Roth IRA also. So
That's true. Yeah, you have to have that. If you don't, you're missing out on the tax-free money when you're retired.
bro, you should end every segment with what's your favorite anime?
If there Let's do it. What's your favorite anime?
Yeah. Top three animes. I'm asking you first.
Oh, for me,
Yeah.
I'm huge. Like I've always been a big fan of Naruto, so that's one. But One Piece, I'm loving that now where we're at. And what would be my third one? So now it's for One Piece. I'm finishing up Attack on Titan right now, and like, oh, this is my phone case. Like, so
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna go with I like the animation a lot. Soul Eater.
Oh, that was good.
I really like the animation
That
in
was
that.
quite a while ago.
Yeah, a
On
long time ago.
Netflix.
Yeah, I'll go with that because like I find myself rewatching that every now and then.
Nice.
What about you? Top 3 anime?
Right now, I have to put Attack on Titan as number one.
Mm,
That finale was awesome. I'll put Dragon Ball Z at number 2 because that's like that
It's
was like
close to the
number
heart.
1 in my heart.
Yeah. Like
3? Jeez, I don't know what 3. I mean, I'll just say like Full Metal Alchemist.
oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
I always send memes to my friends whenever like the dog and the girl thing come up.
Oh, geez, that's so sad.
It's so sad. So like every time I see that post, any kind of post like that, I just like send to everyone. I was like, oh, why'd you have to kill the mood? I was like, yep, that's it. So yeah, man, I appreciate you hanging out with me,
All right.
taking time out of the day. Hopefully we
man.
can do this again soon.
We'll do this again. We'll come up with stuff to talk about.
Have a great day, rest of the day, man. I hope the Dolphins lose.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, at least the Jets or the Bills are gonna lose. So I'll be happy with that.
Later, man. Have a great day.
And if you made it to the end of the video, please don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe. Check out the other interviews that I've done, and I will see you guys very soon. Peace.